outside by external agencies is because the law is written in their hearts.
They were of a different mindset, a different order of thinking. And it wasn't until about 200 AD, 170 years roughly from the time of the crucifixion, when ambitious people started to seek the power again.
Ultimately, though, humans being what they are, human nature reasserted itself.
And people began to compete more, and they began to take pride in fine clothing and in jewelry and in their churches. Then there would have been more conflict, more need for government.
When they began to want more than someone else had, or to be jealous, to covet, all those things that Christ has taught us are outside of his kingdom, then they moved outside of his kingdom.
Why do we think that success comes in column inches written about us in history books or the newspaper, or how well known our name is, rather than what we do day in and day out in keeping covenants that has, I would say, a far greater influence for good throughout a society?
And from that moment on, things begin to come unraveled. And people, instead of seeing themselves as a whole society, which the Savior has healed, now begin to pull off into clans and tribes and identifiable families and so on.
That's when they broke into classes and began to manifest their wealth. And from that time on, they did not really have the same peaceful characteristics. And then the wars start, and that's a logical follow-up to the idea, I want more.
It seems that once it starts, it goes very quickly and without any skids whatsoever. It's a decided choice to go contrary. And that's what makes it the most tragic.
That happened to their society in the same way it happens in our individual lives, just one choice at a time.
Their egos rise to the fore, and eventually we're right back, or they were right back, where societies typically are. Strife and struggle and warfare and brutality and jealousy and immorality and pride.
Something we can observe in the clothes of the Mayans from the representation of the nobles is that they have big egos, that they have great pride, showing all their jewelry, their gods, their images, and their buildings in an illusory way come to show their ego, their pride, and all the riches that they possess.
With pride running rampant, then they turn to competing against one another, and the competition then leads to warfare, and the warfare leads to destruction.
The Nephites and the Lamanites, you would have thought they could have divided up the land, but they were not, either one, ready to give up. You recall that under Mormon, the Nephites thought they were so big and so powerful that at one point they attacked the Lamanites and drove them back into the land of Nephi, because they thought, we can win it all back. And then the next wave of the Lamanites just put them back in